That's my Patty saying good morning to you all. He is in the chicken coop, but while it's nice and cool and the light is not crazy, I want to show you my garden spaces. So this is a little area right outside of our back porch, and you can see some really pretty things here. I've got some pretty zinnias, a little Thumbelina zinnia. I've got, I don't remember what this is called. It's still got its tag in it. A mini petunia combo. Picked that up at 50% off one of my local nurseries. Some nasturtium, some yellow straw flower. I have some cosmos up here. Next year I'll plant either all white or a red variety here maybe. These are kind of just, they're getting ready to bloom some more, but you can see them up there. What I do like about these is that they're so airy and nice. You can see some more zinnias. And then I have some really gorgeous cone flowers here. And then I've got zinnias that are just looking beautiful. They'll be blooming in a few weeks, week or two. And then here is some late plantings that I did of zinnias, all different kind. These will go till the first hard frost, so I'm not worried about that. And then over to the other side is that half of the garden. And just for reference, this is our back door, and then, you know, our yard area. So you can see some wins and some fails. This is some verbascum that I started from seed and have struggled with. Some Shasta daisies. I need to replant the other half of that pot. I've got some, I've really struggled with snapdragons this year. They just don't want to perform for me at all. Over here, we have some purple cone flowers and some green ones. And look at that beauty, you guys. Isn't that gorgeous? We have some beautiful, beautiful zinnias. I don't know if I can reach it over here, but this one is called a cupcake zinnia. And you just kind of see what's down here. Some little straw flowers, some ornamental oregano. It was so pretty a few days ago, but I think it got a little bit, yeah, I don't know what happened there, but you can see. I'll probably just, can I do it here? Yeah, I'll just take those off real quick. Oh, there's some doves flying in. And you can see I've got some cosmos out here. I think that's an apricot lemonade. Big zinnia over there. I think that's a salmon queen. And then right outside I have some plants. We'll go look at that next. I love the way this looks. Of course we have to have the fence because I have, you know, chickens. But I love that corner. This is my favorite. Oh my God. I have seeds to plant this next year, but I am going to collect the seeds again here. Up here I just have some cosmos that were kind of late planted. I've got a tomato. I've got tomatoes everywhere. I don't remember what this is. This might be a squash. Who knows? Could be a cucumber. That's kind of what that little area looks like. I have a couple of these sunflowers that seed them themselves in my gravel, and Addie and I have just left them, but you can see, look at this, the head on this. It's so heavy I can't lift it up to show you, but there it is. All right, this is a side garden area, and I've been spending quite a bit of time in this garden in the last few days, just cleaning everything up, making sure that every bin is productive. Yesterday, I probably planted maybe 25 or 30 little tiny dwarf sunflowers. That's what these little pots are right here. And then I cleaned out some beds and put some new things in to get them all nice and pretty. This plant I love. This is a scarlet runner bean. And you can see it. It's probably 6, 7, 8 feet tall, maybe. It's bigger than 6. Here I have some bell peppers. I don't know if you can see it in the frame. Let me see if I can find it first. Where is it? It's right there. Okay, so it's right there, right there. Some bell peppers and some, I don't know. I don't remember what that pepper is. Got some late planted beans there, a second planting of beans. And then you can just kind of see out there. I replanted some canna lilies that my cousin Wendy gave Grandma. And they're out there. Here's a little zinnia corner. All of these are, let me go on the other side of the fence. It's a little bit nippy out here this morning. It's about 6 a.m. I was up at 4 o'clock with Grandma, and she was having a very rough night. We'll talk about that later, but look at that. Aren't those sweet? I love that one. Anyway, all of these are zinnias getting ready to bloom. Sometimes I pop empty pill bottles in my pots, and then I have a place where I can throw the seeds once I gather things. Here's a little tiny Cosmo. Here's that again. Let's look at it from this side. Isn't that pretty, you guys? Here's that pepper. One lonely bell pepper for my troubles. This is a tomato I dug out of the gravel yesterday. I don't know if it'll make it or not, but if not, I'll toss it out and put some flowers in that pot. Some things over here. My 1 carrot. I have 1 carrot in my whole garden right there. Jujuga I dug out of the driveway yesterday. And then you can kind of see it down this direction. This is Mexican sunflower. It should be little tiny orange sunflowers. This, I wish I'd have planted more of this. This is called Dazzle. And I absolutely love it. I love that. It's showing red on camera, but it's actually a bright, like royal purple. And I love it with the yellow center. Got some sweet peas. I've been eating those mostly when I come out here. I'm going to save the seed for next year because I love the little light blooms. Down here you can see a bunch of zinnia starts. Over here I've got 2 little sunflowers, and then I planted here some more of those scarlet runner beans. And you can kind of see some pretty things. My jalapenos have been just producing like mad. I'm picking 4 or 5 every other day or so. They're doing really good. Some little orange zinnias. Anyway, That's what this garden looks like. Over here is just a bench that I keep on the side of my greenhouse. And mostly it's zinnias, and I think it has a dahlia in the middle. Here's a dahlia in the middle. A plant I've never grown before called Venice Pink. I don't remember the actual flower name, but it's supposed to be a big viney flower, and I haven't gotten any growth on that. And then this is a zucchini that I moved out of that space right there where you see all the pots, and I brought it over here and tried to stake it up a little bit better, see what we could get. So I've been picking zucchinis off of that quite regularly. This is a dahlia that I don't remember planting in this pot, but there it is. She bloomed for the first time this week. This bloom looks a little raggedy, but nevertheless. And then I just love the way it looks from this corner. Okay, this is what I call the chicken coop garden. This was nothing but rocks and where the chickens used to have their enclosed run. But this year I went ahead and made it into a container garden, and you can see that we're getting some really pretty things. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? I've got some dahlias getting ready to bloom. I've got marigolds that just started blooming yesterday. Can you see that right there? I've got some sunflowers up here. That's a Maximilian sunflower, that big one. I have a little sun gold dwarf right there. Some nasturtiums. I have a tomato that got really diseased, and I had to cut it back to one stalk and one tomato, and treated it with a bunch of stuff, and its tomato is still, I don't know if you guys can see it. Its tomato is right there. It's looking pretty good. This is mostly full of tomatoes and zinnias. Some little dahlias that I started from seed right down there. Some cosmos. I don't know if the season is long enough now for most of this to come to bloom, but I don't care. The green is prettier than, you know, it all looked like that corner over there, that weedy corner. It all looked like that weedy corner. And I was able to make a border, put in some bark, kind of do some things. Here's another sunflower that lives in our gravel. There we go. Well, this is Edna, by the way. Hi, Edna. How are you doing, Edna? Okay. Don't know what I've got over here. I don't think I have anything pretty to show you over here yet. But the zinnias will be pretty in another week or two. And if nothing else, it's something green and pretty to look at. I've got some violets. I've got a squash. I've got some tomatoes. I've got some woolly lamb's ear back there. I have some cone flowers. We're seeing if I can get them to come up above the surface. Looks like I lost a couple of zinnias here, so I'll need to pull those out. But anyway, there it is. This is one of my favorite beds right here. And let's get up close and we'll take a look and see how everything's going. This is how I love to plant. A big jumbly mess. So I've got nasturtiums all around this edge. I have a variety of zinnias. I have some gorgeous milkweed, which is the first time I've been able to grow milkweed. I have sunflowers that I did not plant in this garden. Yet they showed up anyway, so they can stay. And then right down here, I'm going to move this rose bush this fall. Can you guys see that? Isn't that pretty? Last year, when this rose bush was new to me, it was pitiful. I was very disappointed with it. It was just a very sad looking rose bush. And this year, it's done so much better. Look at that bloom right down there. So I'm going to plant it and give it a really nice spot. You can see that I have a ton of dahlias. Now, I usually deadhead my dahlias quite regularly, but I want the seed from these. So I'm trying to let some of them dry out so I can get the seed. And sometimes I put a cup over the top because I know I want the seeds from that particular flower for whatever reason. This is a forsythia tree, and I have cut it down probably 4 times this year. And it just keeps springing back. I don't love its location, but it's too big for me to dig out, so I'm kind of stuck with it. Here's some, I don't remember the name of this dahlia, but look at that. And then over here, this is, can't remember what this one's called. I think it's called Ginger something. Oh, Amber Queen. Isn't that pretty? Another sunflower. I think I showed you guys this before, maybe just a still picture. I think this is called a labyrinth dahlia, but I call this one half face because she's not supposed to look like that. But I love her, and I'm definitely collecting the seeds from that girl. Up here, starting to get some Cosmo activity. They're really late for me this year. But these are probably almost 5 feet tall from the ground up. And then those flowers will come up quite a bit. My gladiolas were beautiful. They're kind of dying back now. You can see I have more of those little amber queens. I cut back all of my woolly lamb's ear, most of it anyway. And then I've got those great big sunflowers. You can see a sunflower over there. Let me go ahead and walk around because I want to show you that other. But isn't that pretty? Don't you just love that? Just kind of makes you happy, right? Hi, Helly. Usually I pick up Helly and we walk the garden together, but today I'm walking it with you. Some pretty little zinnias. I have some hollyhocks down here that are thinking about maybe giving me some blooms. My daisies, which I've been collecting a lot of seed from. Weeds in my gravel. Look at this calendula. Isn't that pretty? Back in there, can you see the blue bachelor buttons? And then a variety of zinnias just poking up. Wherever. Now, I can no longer get in this garden. So, I'm not able to deadhead the way that I want. Sometimes I do pull out all of these pots and get in there. But we're past that for this season. Oh, let's look at this. This is Liatris. And it is at the end of its flowering season. I'm ready for it to dry out so I can collect seeds. You can't see it very well, but that's another one of those labyrinth dahlias. That's what it's supposed to look like. But half face looks completely different. Lots of zinnias coming up over here. There's tomatoes in this garden. I'm a big believer in tomatoes. Oh, look at this. We have a bright light Cosmo. I did not notice her yesterday. Very nice. You can see some sunflowers just squatting in my garden. I got tomatoes in there. I got other little hollyhocks. I have dahlias. These are my favorite little dahlia called Bon Esperance. And you can see I'm trying to collect seed. My lavenders have just been fantastic. They smell so good, and I love the occasional little white lavender. I have bachelor buttons in there. I have cosmos above the fray, right there. Let's see. I have a lot of nasturtiums. I just don't have the time to deadhead these right now, so they're just going to have to do what they're going to do. You can see my lavender in here kind of got overwhelmed. If I drop my phone in here, I'll never be able to get in there and get it. I have some yellow nasturtiums. You can kind of see it. Let's see if we can get an overview. It's just really pretty. Over here, I have most of my dahlias. If you grow dahlias, you're probably familiar with all of these. This is a cafe au lait. Over there is some florals, I guess. Some tiny tots. Beautiful, beautiful hollyhocks. Zinnias that are very slow to bloom this year. I cannot remember the name of this dahlia, but I do like it. Down there are more cafe au laits. And then on the other side, I have some lilies and some milkweed, and we'll look at it when I get over there. This starts a combination of my vegetable and flower gardens. So down here you can see some, I don't remember if these are butternuts or zucchinis, but I have some squash, I have tomatoes, I have sunflowers, I have zinnias. I have this massive Cosmo that just will not bloom for me. Every day I pull one of these forward and look to see if it has blooms on it, and it doesn't. It's just, might not want to bloom. Oh, there's one. One. Takes up 10 feet in my garden, but I've got one bloom. I've got these monstrous sunflowers. They're way up there. They're probably 7 feet tall. I have some autumn beauties. I have some little purple and green sunflowers right here. Love those. I'm going to plant more of those next year. Down there are cucumbers and some other squash and zinnias. Here's a row of sunflowers. These aren't blooming yet. Most of these are the purple ones. Let's see what. There we go. Isn't that gorgeous, you guys? Oh, I've got cosmos peeking in everywhere. Oh, looks like I have a man down. Got a sunflower that didn't make it through the night. These are eggplants. I think I have 8 eggplants. They are blooming, but I don't see any eggplant fruit yet. I've got beans that I'm not sure I can get in and harvest. So next year I'll do it a little bit differently, but this year I'll just let them go to seed, and then I'll plant those beans next year. So it's okay. It's all a life learning. Oh, look at that, you guys. Isn't that pretty? Look up there at the sky. Can you see it? The moon. There's that sunflower. So here's the garden from kind of this view. We'll start back over there. So this has a lot of tomatoes in it. I should have come out and staked these. I just couldn't get out here as of today even. Cucumber. That cucumber might be for the chickens because it's looking a little bit big. Some more squash. A little tiny dahlia called Inflammation. Down here is a couple of little cosmos, but that's on a different bush than the one I was talking about in the back. One lonely purple little dahlia right there. Here's a cafe au lait that loves its life. Milkweed. On my lilies are just starting to open up. Those florals are gorgeous. And that's that bed. Now we're going to go take a look at that one. So when you look at this bed, you can see that it is off center. One part of the bed is really high with the tallest flowers, you know, right there, and then it comes down and it's all layered. But this garden bed was only from there to the end of those sunflowers. And then this other part all over here was just rocks and weeds and stuff. A couple of weeks ago, I re-bricked it. Moved a bunch of flower pots in there, and while it's still pretty, it is definitely off center. There's nothing I can do about that this year, but next year I'll replant with my tallest flowers in the center, and then, you know, all the way across the back of the greenhouse. So let's see what's pretty in here. I don't remember the name of this dahlia. I want to say maybe Black Mamba, Voodoo Queen, something like that, but I love it. Got some of these autumn beauties again. I've got dahlias. These are those red dahlias still, I think. I'm not sure. Got little dahlias down here. Some pretty ones there. Some painted daisies that I started from seed. This is finally getting ready to bloom. My cosmos are really late this year. This, I think, is going to be a white variety called Purity. I have some really gorgeous sunflowers right there. Those autumn beauties, if I could reach them, I would deadhead them. And actually, I'm not going to deadhead them because I want the seeds from next year. I've got some nasturtiums. Got some more dahlia right there, getting ready to bloom again. Some red ones back there. Not everything is a win in this garden. That's on the death and dying list right there. Isn't that pretty? It's a little dahlia called Inflammation. Some other little things. Some crocosimo that my neighbors gave me. Some calendula, tomatoes, more painted daisies. Over here, do you love my fancy fence line? I can't keep my chickens out of this bed, so once I did this, they're doing better. I love this little dahlia. This is called Baby Red. And I'm letting it go to seed so I can collect the seeds for next year. Plant them. Okay, let's take a look at the greenhouse. Okay, this is the inside of my greenhouse that Addie gave me for my birthday. And you can see that my tomatoes are up against the rooftop, and I have tomatoes all over the garden, interdispersed with a lot of my flowers. And then up here you can see things that I'm still nursing along in pots. Over here, I did not plant sunflowers in here. Well, not this one. No, yes, I did. I planted this one and that one. And I planted some baby sunflowers back along that edge over there. But I don't think they got enough light to come up very nicely. My only snapdragons to come up this year. Oh, they're killing me. Marigolds. Let's see. The German chamomile I cannot get to germinate for me this year. Which is okay. I've never grown it before, so it might be a learning curve. These are these right here. These little dead snapdragons. These were part of a planter that my cousin Wendy gave Grandma, and I planted everything out separately after everything was pretty much, you know, done. I'm just waiting for that to go to seed because those were such pretty little blue and white snapdragons. You can see my tomato bushes are loving life. Got some calendula right there. Some dahlias, some woolly lamb's ear, some zinnias. Some verbascum. Those have been hard to grow. We'll see what I think at the end of the season. Some cosmos that are not loving their life, but the tomatoes are. I have a wall of zinnias here. Those nice. More zinnias. I try to plant zinnias all summer long so that I have different things blooming at different times. That's the door from the other side. Lots of zinnias. Got some dahlias back there. This tomato is loaded. Can you see them? I don't know if I can. Yeah, there we go. It's just loaded throughout. But it's pushing the top up here. So I don't know what we'll do. I stake and stake and stake, and it's so big. I also pruned these up like 3 times already, where I cut down all the excessive greenery to try to contain them. They just do not want to be contained. Are you a weed? You are a weed. Let's pull you out. You have no business here. There we go. These are kind of on their last leg. These were my orange lime, queen orange lime zinnias. Just waiting for that to go to seed. And I think, is this a weed? I'm not sure. I'll leave it there for now. There were some sunflowers way back there, but I don't think they made it. Look, isn't that a sweet one right there? Okay. That's my garden. And here I am in my garden at 6 o'clock in the morning. So I did update you on Grandma, and Grandma is, you know, yeah. So she's in a rough stage of her, you know, process. She is now hallucinating quite a bit. She's very agitated. She has not eaten any food in 5 days. She does drink about 10 ounces of water or juice from me a day, but not anything more than that. She does not recognize me anymore. Yeah. She's on pretty good meds for pain. And wow, it's been crazy. I am not getting the kind of sleep that I want or need. Grandma screams in the middle of the night quite a bit. It's just hallucinating. The changing of Grandma has been really difficult. She cannot move from side to side, and so we've been struggling with, keeping her clean. We do keep her clean at all costs, absolutely, but it is not a pleasant experience for her or for us. And so I talked to the hospice nurse yesterday, and she's going to come out early next week and do a Foley catheter for Grandma, because we just can't move her. She cannot roll from side to side, so we can get padding out from underneath her or change her to pinned or those kinds of things. So that's what's coming next. She's on a number of meds, pain meds, and a little bit of sedation meds. And sadly, I think that Grandma is nearing, yeah. She has a great life. She's 94 years old. She did all the things she wanted to do. She was nothing but happy her whole life, except for these last 2 or 3 weeks. And there's not a lot that we can do about that. We just try to be there for her. The hospice nurse yesterday did say she thought Grandma was in the middle of the transitioning stage. If you know anything about the dying process with hospice, transitioning is when your body is just knowing that it's going to pass, and it's just preparing. It doesn't want to eat. It doesn't want to drink. It doesn't want to do anything. And that can last a couple of weeks. We're probably a week or 2 into that. And then once she gets to the end of that stage, it's actively dying. So her hospice nurse is going to come out now 3 times a week. We're going to do the Foley catheter, and we're just all going to try to get through it. So the only thing that I am doing for myself right now, as time allows, is to come out here to my garden and just, just do chores, work, sit and admire my flowers, think about what I could do better with Grandma. Oh my God. Oh, it's a real life, my friends. Real life. Real life. Oh, let's look at these again. Let's not end on a sad part.